Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to News Dose, and we're going to kick off the Xbox Showcase this weekend. And from everything that we've heard, it sounds like this will be a must-watch event. In some ways, I actually feel like Xbox is the one showcase that kind of attempts to keep that E3 spirit alive. They typically go all out for their summer showcases, and it sounds like they're going to do that once again this year. There are some very interesting rumors floating around that makes it sound like they have more than a few surprises up their sleeve that fans will really enjoy. So if you want the lowdown on their event, I'm going to go ahead and give you the latest information, and then we'll talk about a couple PlayStation stories after that. But yeah, let's just go and get right into this, and there's actually 3 different rumors here that I want to talk about. Now, the first one here I think is a little bit more reliable just because it comes from the often leaky Jeff Grubb. He doesn't necessarily always get everything right, but he's also proven that he does have legitimate sources. So he is a proven insider. And according to him, he said this about the Xbox Showcase. Not to spoil anything, but the numbers that I'm hearing are about 2 hours and 30 games. And at least a handful of those games are stuff that we've never heard of before. Now, I think that second part in specific is what's really interesting about his claim. I mean, yes, a 2-hour showcase is quite long, and that kind of tells us that they have another big event planned for this year. But I also like the idea that they're coming in with unannounced games. I mean, yes, it's great to get updates for games that we already know about, but I always love when these showcases show us something brand new to get us excited, something to really surprise us. And based on this leak here, Xbox will deliver the goods this year. I think this becomes even more welcome news, though, coming off of Jeff Keighley's response the other day, where he said that we should expect this Summer Game Fest to be more about updates than about surprise unannounced games. He kind of blamed that on 2024 being a lighter year for AAA games, but as I've been saying these past few days, I personally expect the Xbox and Nintendo showcases to be the places where we get those more exciting unannounced games. But at the end of the day, I do think gamers will have a fun overall month when you combine all of these different events together and the various announcements that will be made. Now, as for Xbox showing around 30 games, though, that's a lot, but we do have a loose idea as to what some of those games will be. This includes Gears of War 6. It sounds like that's going to have a huge showing at this event. There's also Doom: The Dark Ages that leaked the other day. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has already been confirmed, and we've also heard about games like Flight Sim 24 and also possible updates for Avowed and Indiana Jones as well. We've already heard about these games through previous leaks, and personally, with just those 6 games alone, I think that's already a pretty exciting lineup. But I'm also very curious as to what some of these other surprise announcements will be. I'm going to cross my fingers here that this will finally be the year for us Banjo-Kazooie fans. I mean, it probably won't happen, but I'm going to go ahead and continue to hope each and every year until it eventually happens. I mean, it has to eventually happen, right? Right? Who knows? Us Banjo fans just must love pain. It is what it is. Now, based on this next rumor here, though, according to Ecstasis, which is a popular Spanish YouTuber that has a track record for different leaks, he claims that Xbox will shadow launch a first-party game that fans have been waiting for. Now, this is a pretty vague claim, all things considered, which personally, I'm not really a big fan of, but this rumor has been gaining a lot of traction online, so I thought we would at least talk about it. And if it is actually true, there's at least a pretty decent hint here. If it's true that it's a game that fans have been waiting for, then there's really not too many games that comes to mind. The first that I can think of is Towerborn, which I guess could be considered as a first-party title since it's under the Xbox Game Publishing label, and supposedly it is set for sometime in 2024. It's been a while since we've seen anything on it, though, but it could get its re-reveal and make for a really exciting shadow launch that would immediately gain some interest being a part of Xbox Game Pass, and Stoic as a studio is really good. They did a great job on the Banner Saga. If you haven't already played those games, definitely check them out. And I'm interested to see what they can do on this more brawler type of game. This is going to be something completely different for them. So I'm very interested to see how it turns out. The other possibility here, though, and if this were to happen, this would be an incredible announcement that I think a lot of people would be very, very excited about. a Gears of War collection. This has been highly speculated really since Xbox launched the Halo collection back in 2014. It's actually kind of crazy that it's been that long. Time just flies. But there's been rumors of a Gears collection in development, and it really feels like now is kind of the perfect time to put it out there. Gears of War 6 is getting closer, and it would be great to have that Gears collection to kind of tide fans over and get that hype train going until the eventual release of Gears 6. Now, personally, I'm a huge Gears fan, especially for the original trilogy, so I'll be ecstatic if this actually turns out to be true, but I guess we'll see. There's one more rumor flying around, though, and this also comes from Ecstasis, who claims that Xbox is going to tease a new handheld console. Now, this is not the first time that we've heard about an Xbox handheld. I do firmly believe that they are actually working on one. Even Phil Spencer himself has kind of teased a new Xbox handheld. But I will also say, I wasn't exactly expecting a confirmation this early on. So if this turns out to be true, I think this will be a huge but also a very welcome surprise. Personally, I think it's a great idea to have an Xbox handheld because there is a real market for these devices. We've seen that with the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally, even more so with the Nintendo Switch. And if Xbox can get all of their games working on a native handheld, not a cloud device, but something that can play Xbox games locally, then I think there is a market for a device like that. If anything else, it'd be a great way for them to expand and reach more people, and that's a big part of their strategy. They want to put Xbox Game Pass on all kinds of different screens, and this would be one way for them to do that. So maybe next generation, instead of having an Xbox Series S equivalent console, maybe instead they'll have an ultra powerful console and then also a legitimate Xbox handheld. Personally, I actually really like that idea, but let me know what you all think about all this. Do you think this is a good idea or not? And more so, what do you think about all of these different rumors? Do you think there's any truth to any of these rumors or not? I will say this much, though, if all of this actually does turn out to be true, then yeah, Xbox really does have an exciting showcase in store. If anything else, we're not going to have to wait much longer. Now, let's go moving over to PlayStation now, and I think the story is actually kind of amusing. We've heard a lot about the PlayStation 5 Pro this year. Supposedly is going to release in late 2024. We've seen specs, we've heard about its new AI upscaling method, and I think it sounds like an overall interesting device on paper. But one problem it might face is its marketing. How exactly are they going to market this improved console? If you think about it, last generation with the PlayStation 4 Pro, they were able to make it very clear for fans on what type of improvement it will get. They sold fans on the idea that the PS4 Pro is capable of 4K resolution. But when it comes to the PS5 Pro, though, it's not really going to have that clear differentiating factor. Now, I think they'll lean into its improved ray tracing specifically because that's something that hasn't really done a great job this generation. But something else that they could do is that they could slap the 8K resolution tag on the box. The only problem with that, though, is that they've already done that with the standard PlayStation 5, which is probably one of the most misleading claims that I've seen in gaming just as a whole. Well, it's recently been spotted that Sony removed that 8K label after it being on the market for multiple years. Now, I got to look at that as an indication that they're just going to go ahead and do the same thing with the PlayStation 5 Pro. It'll have that 8K tag on the box. But hey, at the very least, the current PlayStation 5 box art is now technically more accurate because there's not a whole lot of games that can actually do 8K resolution outside of incredibly small games. Truth be told, I don't really expect that to change all that much with the PS5 Pro either, but we saw it once with the PS5, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if they tried to do the same thing with the PS5 Pro. Now, one last thing that I want to quickly talk about here, though, is The Last of Us Part 2, and I understand that there's some PC fans out there that's still waiting on the inevitable PC port. It's been over a year since the first game launched on PC, so you would think that it's only a matter of time by this point, and, well, according to Bilbo Kuhn, a PC port has not only been in development, but it's actually been long finished. Yeah, you can see here where he said, to begin with, and according to our information, the title of The Last of Us Part 2 is well under development on PC. This had even started since at least 2021. Furthermore, and this is the most important information in this article, we believe that the development of the game is well finished, and this dates back to at least November of 2023. Now, if that's actually true, the question really then becomes, if it's done, then why hasn't it released yet? And I think that he made a very good point in this article. If you think about it, The Last of Us Part 1 exists because of the HBO series. They wanted to pair that remaster with the HBO show to drive traffic across both mediums, which worked out for them. The game sold very well after that show released. So it's only logical for them to do the same thing with Season 2. So I think that's probably what's going to happen here. But just know for you PC fans out there that it very much sounds like The Last of Us Part 2 is indeed coming. It sounds like it's a matter of when rather than if. Anyways, that's going to be it for this episode. But as always, do hit that subscribe button. And until next time, peace out.